American forces control Caracas. Venezuelan military is shattered. Maduro hides in jungle bunker. Victory seems certain. Then, 340 Cuban special forces cross the border from Trinidad. Russian mercenaries land at night on isolated beaches. Iranian drone operators activate sleeper cells. Suddenly, America faces guerrilla war across 3 countries. One front just became 4. This is how victories become quagmires. May 2nd, 2025. The conventional war is over. America won decisively. Venezuelan Air Force destroyed on the ground. Navy sunk at dock. Army scattered into mountains. Command and control eliminated. Infrastructure crippled. In 3 weeks of combat, American forces demonstrated overwhelming superiority. 0 combat deaths. Minimal wounded. Complete tactical dominance. Pentagon planners declare mission accomplished. Transition to peacekeeping operations begins. Troops prepare for drawdown. Politicians draft victory speeches, then everything changes. The first sign comes at 2:47 a.m. on May 3rd. American patrol in eastern Caracas encounters ambush. 4-man fire team conducting routine security sweep, checking abandoned government buildings. Standard procedure, low-threat environment. Rules of engagement assume minimal resistance. The soldiers carry M4 carbines, basic body armor, no heavy weapons. This is peacekeeping, not combat. They turn corner into residential street. Suddenly, windows explode with automatic weapons fire. The ambush is professional, overlapping fields of fire, escape routes blocked. Kill zone established with precision, PKM machine guns from elevated positions, AK-47 rifles from ground level, RPG-7 rocket launcher positioned to hit response vehicles. This isn't desperate Venezuelan conscripts. This is trained military operation. The 4 American soldiers take cover behind concrete wall, return fire, call for support, but they're pinned down, surrounded, outgunned. Quick Reaction Force arrives in 8 minutes. 2 M1126 Stryker armored vehicles, 16 soldiers, 50 caliber machine guns. They approach the ambush site at speed. Lead Stryker turns onto Kill Zone Street. RPG-7 rocket slams into front armor. 85mm warhead detonates. The Stryker's reactive armor absorbs most of the blast. Vehicle stays mobile. But now Americans understand, this isn't random attack, this is coordinated insurgency. What's your assessment? Type A if this is just remnants of Venezuelan forces. Type B if foreign fighters have entered the conflict. The firefight lasts 34 minutes. American forces kill 9 attackers, capture 3 wounded, recover weapons and equipment. Body armor is Cuban military issue. Rifles are Russian AK-12 pattern. Night vision goggles are Iranian manufacture. Radio equipment uses Chinese encryption. The captured fighters speak Spanish with Cuban accents, carry no identification, wear no uniforms. But their training is obvious. These aren't Venezuelan conscripts. These are professional soldiers from hostile nations. American intelligence scrambles to assess the situation. CIA station in Caracas goes to maximum alert. NSA increases signals intercepts. Satellite coverage intensifies. Within hours, the picture becomes clear. Multiple foreign insertion points. Cuban special forces entered through Trinidad. 200 soldiers disguised as oil workers. Russian Wagner mercenaries landed on isolated beaches at night. 140 contractors with heavy weapons. Iranian Quds Force operators activated existing sleeper networks. 40 advisors coordinating attacks. Suddenly, America faces organized insurgency backed by 3 hostile powers. Pentagon holds emergency video conference at 4 a.m. Eastern Time. Joint Chiefs assess the new threat. This isn't Venezuelan military reconstituting. This is proxy war. Cuba provides infantry. Russia provides firepower. Iran provides explosives and intelligence. China provides logistics and equipment. 4 adversaries coordinating to bleed American forces. Turn quick victory into long occupation. Transform successful operation into political liability. The strategy is obvious and effective. Don't miss how this situation develops. Subscribe now for continuous coverage. Secretary of Defense briefs. President at 6:30 a.m. Options are limited and unpleasant. Option 1. Withdraw immediately. Declare victory and leave. Accept that foreign forces will fill the vacuum. Option 2. Escalate commitment. Send more troops. Expand operations into neighboring countries harboring insurgents. Accept long-term occupation. Option 3. Negotiate with hostile powers. Trade Venezuelan concessions for their withdrawal of support. Accept partial defeat. Every option has massive downsides. President chooses option 2. America doesn't retreat, doesn't negotiate with terrorists, commits to finishing the mission regardless of cost. By May 5th, insurgent attacks escalate dramatically. Roadside bombs hit American convoys. Snipers target patrols. Mortar attacks strike forward operating bases. Suicide bombers detonate at checkpoints. The tactics are familiar from Iraq and Afghanistan. Iranian playbook applied to Venezuelan theater. American casualties mount: 3 killed on May 5th, 7 wounded, 5 killed on May 6th, 14 wounded. The numbers aren't catastrophic. But the trend is clear. This war isn't ending, it's evolving. Cuban insertion strategy proves sophisticated. They don't mass forces, they embed with local populations. Provide training to Venezuelan remnants, supply weapons and equipment, coordinate operations. Cuban advisors stay hidden. Venezuelan proxies conduct attacks. If Americans kill Venezuelan insurgents, it's local resistance. If Americans kill Cuban soldiers, it's international incident. Plausible deniability protects Cuba from direct American retaliation. Classic proxy warfare doctrine executed perfectly. Russian Wagner mercenaries operate differently. They don't hide, they fight. Heavy weapons teams engage American patrols from long range. RPG-29 anti-tank missiles destroy strikers. Cornet anti-tank guided missiles hit Bradley fighting vehicles. PKM machine guns suppress American infantry. Wagner contractors are veterans, former Spetsnaz, experienced in Syria, trained in urban combat. They inflict casualties and withdraw before American firepower can respond. Hit and run tactics, asymmetric warfare, bleeding American forces through attrition. This kind of detailed tactical analysis requires serious research. Subscribe to support this content. Iranian contribution focuses on explosives. Quds Force trainers teach bomb making, supply timers, provide detonators, share techniques refined over decades fighting American forces in Iraq. Improvised explosive devices appear everywhere, buried in roads, hidden in buildings, planted on vehicles. The devices range from crude pressure plates to sophisticated radio-controlled systems. Some use military artillery shells. Others employ fertilizer and fuel oil. Iranian expertise makes every road dangerous, every building suspicious, every vehicle a potential bomb. American forces adapt tactics rapidly, increase patrol sizes, add more armor, deploy mine-resistant vehicles, use drones for reconnaissance, implement biometric identification at checkpoints, expand intelligence operations. Marine Corps sends additional battalions, Army deploys ranger companies, Special Operations Forces hunt high-value targets. America applies lessons learned from 20 years of counterinsurgency. But applying lessons costs time, costs lives, costs political capital. May 10th brings the attack that changes everything. Truck bomb detonates outside American forward operating base near Maracaibo. 2,000 pounds of explosives packed into stolen delivery truck. Driver suicide bomber crashes through checkpoint. Detonates in middle of compound. The blast crater is 30 feet wide, 20 feet deep. Concussion wave flattens buildings within 100 yards. Kills 47 American soldiers. Wounds 132. The largest single-day American combat death toll since Afghanistan withdrawal. National news covers it extensively. Congress demands answers. Public opinion shifts. What would you do as theater commander after this attack? Comment your operational response below. Intelligence traces the truck bomb to Iranian-trained cell. Explosives were Iranian-supplied. Training was Quds Force methodology. But the bomber was Venezuelan. The truck was local. The planning involved Cuban advisors. Attribution becomes impossible. Which nation do you retaliate against? Iran supplied explosives but didn't conduct attack. Cuba provided planning but didn't build bomb. Venezuela provided bomber but didn't originate operation. Russia provided security for planning meetings but didn't participate directly. Each nation maintains plausible deniability. Each shares guilt. Each escapes direct accountability. American response is comprehensive but diffuse. Drone strikes hit suspected insurgent camps. Special operations raids capture cell leaders. Increased patrols disrupt supply lines. Expanded checkpoints restrict movement. But the core problem remains. Foreign powers support insurgency from neighboring territories. Trinidad harbors Cuban soldiers. Colombian border regions host Wagner bases. Brazilian frontier zones shelter Iranian operatives. American forces can't cross borders without creating international incidents. Can't strike sovereign nations without expanding war. Geographic constraints limit military options. Trinidad government denies Cuban presence, claims no knowledge of foreign fighters, maintains neutral position. But American satellites show Cuban transport aircraft landing at Piarco Airport. Electronic intercepts confirm Cuban military communications. CIA assets report Cuban officers operating openly in Port of Spain. Trinidad isn't neutral. Trinidad is complicit, providing sanctuary to forces attacking Americans. Small nations play dangerous games when superpowers fight nearby. Secretary of State delivers ultimatum to Trinidad on May 15th. Expel Cuban forces within 48 hours or face consequences. Trinidad's Prime Minister responds defiantly, invokes sovereignty, references international law, refuses to comply with American demands. Behind defiant words, Trinidad calculates, American military is committed in Venezuela. Stretched thin, fighting insurgency, unable to open another front. Trinidad gambles America won't escalate. The gamble proves correct. America issues more warnings. Trinidad ignores them. Cuban forces remain. If you're following this complex multi-front war, like and subscribe for more analysis. Colombian border becomes critical battleground. Wagner mercenaries establish bases in remote regions. Colombian government claims inability to control territory. Reality is, they lack will to confront Russian contractors. Colombia supported American operations in Venezuela. Now reluctant to fight Russian proxies on their soil, worried about escalation, concerned about casualties, hoping Americans will handle the problem. But American forces can't cross Colombian border without permission, can't conduct operations on sovereign territory without host nation approval. Legal constraints limit military effectiveness. Special operations forces conduct covert missions anyway. Delta Force operators cross into Colombia at night, target Wagner camps, use helicopter insertions, strike fast, extract quickly. Official policy is no cross-border operations. Unofficial reality is different. Americans can't allow sanctuary zones, can't let enemy rest safely across invisible lines. So they bend rules, conduct deniable missions, eliminate threats wherever they hide. Colombian government notices, protests privately, does nothing publicly. Everyone maintains comfortable fictions. May 22nd brings new complication. Chinese merchant ship docks at Puerto Cabello. Official cargo is humanitarian supplies. Actual cargo is weapons and ammunition. Electronic jamming equipment, encrypted communication systems, night vision devices, drone components, everything insurgents need for sustained operations. Venezuelan government arranges delivery. Chinese government provides equipment. Neither admits military support. Both maintain commercial fiction. Ship unloads. Equipment disappears into insurgent supply network. American intelligence watches helplessly. Can't stop commercial shipping. Can't inspect cargo without Venezuelan permission. Can't prove military equipment without boarding ship. American naval blockade proves ineffective against this smuggling. Warships stop tankers carrying oil, but can't intercept every cargo vessel. Can't board ships from neutral nations, can't violate maritime law without international backlash. Chinese exploit this weakness, run supplies through commercial channels, hide military equipment among legitimate cargo, use neutral flag vessels, employ complex routing through multiple ports. Supply lines remain open despite American naval dominance. Ground situation deteriorates through late May. Insurgent attacks increase in frequency and sophistication. Ambushes become more complex. IED designs improve. Coordination between different insurgent groups strengthens. American casualties rise steadily. 5 killed per week becomes 8. Then 12, then 15. Wounded numbers triple. Medical evacuation flights run constantly. Field hospitals overflow. The war transforms from conventional triumph to counterinsurgency grind. Your engagement helps us continue this level of detailed coverage. Drop a comment and share. American domestic politics grow toxic. Opposition party demands withdrawal, accuses president of mission creep, questions strategic objectives, compares Venezuela to Vietnam. Media coverage shifts from celebrating victory to questioning costs. Gold Star families appear on news programs. Anti-war protests resume on college campuses. Public support drops from 73% to 51% in 3 weeks. Political pressure builds for exit strategy. But military reality prevents quick departure. Can't abandon country to foreign-backed insurgency. Can't let adversaries win proxy war. Can't retreat under fire. Allied support waivers. Britain maintains commitment but sends no additional forces. France offers diplomatic support but no military assistance. Colombia restricts American operations from their territory. Brazil refuses any involvement. Regional allies who supported initial operation now distance themselves. Long counterinsurgency requires sustained political will. Allied populations lack appetite for extended conflict. American forces fight increasingly alone. By June 1st, American troop levels reach 45,000. Triple initial deployment, 3 Marine Expeditionary Units, 2 Army Brigade combat teams, multiple Special Operations Task Forces, expanded intelligence apparatus, growing logistics tail. The footprint increases while mission success decreases. Classic signs of counterinsurgency quagmire. More forces achieve less result. Enemy adapts faster than Americans can adjust. Tactical victories don't produce strategic progress. Russian Foreign Ministry spokesman gives smug press conference on June 3rd. Denies Wagner presence in theater. Claims only private citizens volunteering to help Venezuelan resistance. Compares them to international brigades in Spanish Civil War. The comparison is deliberate provocation. Americans can't admit fighting Russian forces without expanding conflict. Can't retaliate against Russia without risking major war. So Russia bleeds American forces through proxies while maintaining official innocence. Soviet Afghanistan playbook reversed. Americans learn how Soviets felt facing Stinger missiles supplied by CIA. Iranian president gives speech on June 5th. Praises Venezuelan resistance. Promises continued support to all forces fighting American imperialism. Doesn't mention specific Iranian involvement. Doesn't need to. Everyone understands. Iranian bomb-making expertise kills Americans daily. Iranian intelligence networks coordinate attacks. Iranian money funds operations. But Iran maintains diplomatic distance. Fights America through proxies. Imposes costs without accepting risks. Asymmetric warfare executed at strategic level. Cuban government stays silent. Never acknowledges forces in Venezuela. Never confirms or denies involvement. Maintains plausible deniability while directing most effective insurgent operations. Cuban military intelligence has 60 years' experience fighting America indirectly. Angola, Nicaragua, Colombia, now Venezuela, different countries, same playbook. Provide training, supply weapons, coordinate operations, stay invisible. Cuban advisors are ghosts that kill. Was opening this new front inevitable, or could better intelligence have prevented it? Share your analysis below. American military faces fundamental strategic problem, can win every tactical engagement, can kill more enemies than they lose, can control every piece of ground they occupy, but can't achieve political victory, can't eliminate insurgency supplied by neighboring nations, can't occupy Venezuela indefinitely, can't expand war to Cuba, Russia, Iran, China simultaneously. Military power proves insufficient for political solution. Classic counterinsurgency dilemma with no clear answer. Joint Chiefs present reassessment to President on June 8th. Current strategy is failing. Insurgency is strengthening. Casualties are increasing. Costs are mounting. Political support is eroding. Recommend 3 options. Option 1. Massive escalation. Triple forces. Expand operations into neighboring territories. Accept decade-long commitment. Option 2. Negotiated withdrawal. Trade concessions for insurgent stand-down. Accept partial defeat. Option 3. Maintain current approach. Accept casualties. Grind insurgents through attrition. Hope political will last longer than enemy resources. President chooses option 3. America committed. Must see it through, regardless of cost. The new front is fully open. What began as quick, conventional victory transforms into protracted, irregular warfare. 4 adversaries coordinate to bleed American forces. Small nations provide sanctuary. Insurgents learn and adapt. American military supremacy proves irrelevant against distributed resistance. This is how victories become quagmires, how 3-week wars become 3-year occupations, how clear objectives become murky commitments. The front opened. The question is whether it ever closes. To adversaries employing proxy warfare, understand this clearly. America can endure, can adapt, can outlast. Vietnamese tried to break American will. Failed initially, succeeded eventually. Afghans tried same strategy. Achieved same result after 20 years. Now Venezuela becomes testing ground. Will American political system sustain long counterinsurgency? Will public support hold through rising casualties? Will allies maintain commitment through extended operations? Only time answers. But opening new front doesn't guarantee victory, just guarantees long war. And long wars favor determination over capability. 3 final questions require serious consideration. First, can conventional military superiority defeat coordinated insurgency backed by multiple nations? Second, does proxy warfare allow adversaries to impose unlimited costs on America without accepting risks? Third, at what point do rising casualties justify withdrawal regardless of strategic objectives? Your military analysis matters. Comment below, share with defense professionals. Subscribe, because understanding modern warfare means understanding how victories transform into challenges, how one front becomes 4, how quick wars become long occupations. The front opened. Now watch carefully what happens next.